My relationship is so healthy when it comes to like decision making. Literally every choice we've ever made has been like something that we're 100% like on, and we make the decision together. We've never done anything that hasn't been like 100% agreed upon.
Now that all this stupid event's done with, I can focus on my true passions, making content cops.
I never would have dreamed that we'd do something like this.
Yeah.
Boxing, it's strange. I at least thought that we would have done it for money.
We have not earned money for the past 2 years, which makes taxes very easy.
That's good.
Nice.
It with me every time I think about it. I'm like, I don't box. What the hell is this?
We make the decision together. I'm not gonna lie, Ethan, I go to your subreddit all the time for like a break from the insanity. It's like the only sane place on the internet, I swear to God. I think there's a fear of intelligence.
I get it. We have different opinions. It's not going to change. Clearly, I'm too stupid to understand what you're saying.
Like they really value their intelligence,
so they can't be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're sitting there lecturing me, essentially. Like, I feel like I'm back in the worst class that I've ever been in my life.
We recently had a boundary walked over. It feels very similar to being cheated on, to be honest.
You guys do need to be making money, though. You understand that, right?
I at least thought that we would have done it for money.
I think, like, honestly, like, young male audiences are the worst audiences on the planet, by far.
I don't know. I've been doing a lot of growing over my career on YouTube. So it's been, it's been.
Some men definitely, like, I mean, Ian is definitely one of those men where, like, you can tell he just, like, literally does not give a shit at all. I try to get him to give a shit. So for Ian, for example, like, I would say trashy or trailer park would be one. Like, untucked or, like, a bit unorganized and, like, simple.
A real relationship is a wrestling match. It's a grappling phenomena that you both emerge transformed from. And that's what people want. They don't want a pushover. Not unless there's something wrong with them. Now, a narcissistic person who never wants to be challenged will want a partner who does nothing but deliver exactly what they're told to deliver, but they will mistreat them beyond belief.
My biggest, there's like some days where I ask Ian, like, have I ruined your life? Like, I feel like because you get so many messages where, like, you have to think about it.
Anisa Joma, the sneaky snake of YouTube. This is how Anisa used to describe herself several years ago in her Twitter bio. Perhaps she realized broadcasting her snake-like intentions was not the greatest idea, but the
All right. Hey, Platypus, if you don't want to hear about crazy e-celebs, I understand.
So, actually...
No, you're still muted. Hold on. Right. Unmute. There you go.
Oh, good. You finally unmuted me. Okay. So, if you're tuning in, if you're thinking this is going to be all about the drama between their relationship, good news. I'm actually going to go over some financial numbers. The big thing that I wanted to look at here is, and I'm surprised nobody else except for one other YouTuber named Bo Blacks is looking at this. He got a lot of things wrong, but he's on the right track. So I do want to give that Bo Blacks guy credit for
also,
what he looked at.
Credit as well to Glitch Poachers, who was the start clip.
So what I wanted to go over in here is the actual numbers, because as I'm sure the entire internet has heard, good old Idubbbz has lost 250K. Therefore, none of the charities got any money at all.
Except previously, before it had started. Did you see that?
So, something sort of like that, but then again, okay, how can I trust it? Because that's another thing too, is they said that they did that, but then somebody donated anonymously. No. You don't do that if you're donating, especially if you're a business that's running a charity event, so that the IRS doesn't come after you for profits. You don't just get to write off a donation anonymously. You have to tie your business to it, or you have to tie your name to it.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other story, and I don't want to make false accusations, but I can 100% prove that the story that Idubbbz is given for the reason why he is 250K in the hole is a lie. And then I'll go into some further speculation on it. So the main thing that I wanted to cover is how much revenue did this event actually get? Because he's saying he wasn't able to make his set point, his fixed costs, because he lost an amount, or he lost 50% of the viewership for the pay-per-view. And when you start adding up the numbers, it doesn't make much sense. Now, who's autistic enough to do the math on something like that? Me. I am. Would you be able to pull up the picture that I gave of the calculations that I did and put it up on screen? Yep, that's the one. All right. So what I did is I actually went and bothered to find the price of the pay-per-view revenue. And this is the price points, and this is all assuming that it's at the exact same price. So keep in mind, right now, all we are working with is estimates, and this is all at $50,000. So assuming every single person went and pre-ordered that shit the second they heard about it at $19.99, he would have made $999,500, close to $1 million. Now, the price for the 25 fighters, and I'm saying 25 because we know Froggy Fresh was paid but then dropped later, would have came out to approximately $500,000. So, and I'm being very generous, and we know for a fact it's actually less than that because Froggy Fresh only got paid $15,000. But we're going to be generous. We're going to add that extra $5,000, assuming that all costs are equal across the board, for 25 fighters. That comes out to $500,000. So his main complaint was he increased the number of fighters, which comes out to I have to do the math real quick. I believe it was only 120 or 140 increase in cost. Let me just do that real quick.
I wanted to clarify something. So if people don't know, what they're claiming is that it is a $250,000 loss for the Creator Clash 2. And in case you guys didn't know, the fighters were paid. Fighters were paid. People are acting like, oh, the fighters weren't paid. It's all for trade. No, they were paid.
So
$50,000 each, except for Froggy.
Well, $20,000 each.
Yes.
Specifically $20,000. Now, that, believe it or not, that's not what I have a problem with. And a lot of people, and this is part of what Bo Black sort of went off in the weeds on, and I'm not going to chastise him too much over it because he's on the right track. You do have to pay for training to go in for something like that. And not only that, that's covering their travel expenses. So you're not paying for their ticket to travel out there. That's all included in that $20,000. So I actually see that as more than acceptable that they get $20,000 to train.
Yeah, sure.
Boxing. That's fine. So the difference and cost increase for this $250,000 loss for the increased number of fighters, Creator Clash 1 is $360,000 for 18 fighters. And I actually believe that's more, and I'll cover that later, because I remember Anisa was supposed to box, then she suddenly got a concussion, and she's had like 13, 14, 15 concussions. She has a concussion every week. And she can't get her story straight on how many concussions she has. But she would have technically been a paid fighter for Creator Clash 1. But we'll give the benefit of the doubt. We'll assume it's at the low end. We'll assume it's at $360,000. But $500,000, that's $140,000 in changed fixed cost for your fighters.
And I do want to clarify something because I didn't mention it at the beginning of the stream. We are not here to like expose him or her or make fun of him or her just a little bit. We're not here to like be haters or whatever.
Well, I'm mad because they keep using charity as a meat shield for their behavior. But...
Sure, yeah. Well, okay. It's that there are strange discrepancies that we feel that they should be more open about. Well, if they're going to claim this loss and make such a big deal about it, it's like you didn't have to make that video, but since you did, and you know, it's all out in the open, why not make it all out in the open? Because it's not really making sense the way they're describing it. Also, please let me know if I'm echoey as fuck, because I sound echoey as fuck to myself.
Yeah, feel free to just spam the chat with obscenities or whatnot, letting us know.
And eggplants.
Yeah. All right. Is everyone able to hear me? Okay. So there's only been a change of 140,000. Yet he's claiming that the change in revenue from the 50% loss doesn't cover the fighters. Well, I can tell you right now, if every single person that ordered a pay-per-view ordered as soon as it came out, it already covers the fixed cost of the fighters alone. We're not even getting into venue sales, and I'll cover that as well because I had to do some really autistic math to get that, and I did get an answer for an approximation of what they made. It should be about 1.7 million. There's a lot of unknown expenses that we don't have. We don't know fixed overhead salary positions and costs for the organizers and promoters. And if you guys aren't familiar with working with charities or working with donation stuff, there's a magical place where a lot of your Susan G. Komen donations to fight breast cancer go. And it's called overhead and marketing. It's why, despite the millions that Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation gets, 93% of it goes to overhead and salaries. It all gets eaten up by administration costs. And that's not saying that people that work at, say, a 501c3 shouldn't be getting a salary. It's when 93% of that money is being eaten up, and it's not a small amount that you're working with multi-millions of dollars, you start raising some questions. And when things don't add up and you have to ask, wait, where is the money going? I think that's something that is reasonable to ask. Another thing that we don't necessarily know, I didn't bother doing the in-depth look. This is all just a very rough estimation of me going over Idubbbz' own words and Idubbbz' own numbers and own things that he's released, and estimating approximately what we're working with everywhere else. So we don't know if he's doing it through a 501c3. And what a 501c3 is that's a special tax designation for a nonprofit. And usually when you do that and you set everything up through a 501c3, you get preferred tax exemption status. And usually those have people that run it, those have CEOs that they're just like a normal business, except they have to operate within a certain other set of rules. Now, we don't know if he's doing that or if he's doing it as a for-profit business through whatever LLC he runs his regular YouTube through. And if he's doing that, then he would be doing this as a donation stream, which then means he can write it off on his taxes. Not saying he's necessarily doing that, but if he is doing that and donating stuff, it would be really stupid to not write off donations on your taxes. We don't know because he hasn't opened up the books. He hasn't given a lot of explanation, and there hasn't been a lot of transparency. The cost of the ring and construction, I actually, because of some other stuff that's happened, have a general idea of what a ring would cost. The ring would be approximately $10,000 if he's going with a high point, which is normally what average people do. He would probably have custom things, so it actually round that up to maybe somewhere around $30,000 to $50,000 for whatever custom inserts they want to put in, maybe custom construction. We also don't know if he had union guys that are, building it that actually know what they're doing versus, whatever Joe, Bob, and Jimmy, they had to slap together a bunch of boards. At the end of the day, I can tell you right now that a high point that would be used in a boxing match would be around 10,000, but we don't know how much customization or any other stuff was put into that. And that's the most common one that is used. We don't know what the insurance cost would be. I would assume fairly low because despite Idubbbz' past, he's fairly inoffensive. His fans aren't known for rioting or much destruction or anything like that. So it'd be a relatively low cost on that end. Cost of referees, I tried finding estimates on that. That was rough. And we also don't know what caliber of referee it is. I do know for something like a wrestling referee, you get paid, for like high school wrestling or like middle school wrestling, somewhere around like 25-ish an hour for maybe 2 or 3 hours of work, 4 hours of work. But that obviously wouldn't apply to a boxing match, so that's still up in the air. Security, concessions, and event staff. We don't know what the contract negotiation was for that. We also don't know the cost of the rooms. He says, I could look this up because he gives a specific hotel. He says approximately around what time it is, but what we don't know is how many days they were there. I would think 3 days based on what he said, but he tried to make it sound like the hotel stay was another big money sink for why this event lost $250,000. And it made no sense because what's the highest that the hotels could go? And even if they were high, why not do something like say, okay, well, I'll book hotels on the outskirts of town and we'll bus our fighters in the day of the event. That way we're, able to save on lodging. That's not an uncommon tactic, by the way, especially if it comes to something insane. But for him to even get to $250K from that point before, it would need to be somewhere along the lines of $1,000 a night per room for 25 or 24 rooms.
And they did. Well, he mentioned that
it would have to be for like 7 days.
He mentioned that prices rose when Taylor Swift's concert was in town or whatever. But he said that he had already purchased the hotel rooms before that.
Yeah, so that's not necessarily clicking with me and adding up if he had the hotel rooms aligned before. And even if she did make the announcement, what's the most that it would have been? Maybe triple the price. So say like you're going to DC during an event, you're looking at maybe like $300, $400 a night. That still doesn't add up unless you're staying there for a week or something. His story about the hotel doesn't make sense. He may have spent more than he thought he was going to, but it doesn't add up to $250,000. Medical clearance per fighter, this is usually just lab paperwork and a couple $100. I've seen this with a bunch of amateur fights. I wouldn't assume that the amateur fights medical clearance would be any different. There is also stuff with licensing and stuff like that, getting it cleared with the board, but he would have had a lot of that taken care of around the first time around, and he'd just be renewing. Again, we don't know the costs. I don't know how strict Florida is with that kind of stuff, although given the reputation of Florida man, I would assume that the reputation would not be super high. And this is the one thing, I was able to get a general ballpark of how much a venue would cost. And we're going to go into this because I have the approximate amount that he would have made off of the venue.
And he thought he was lying when he said he was going to get autistic.
So what they're claiming is that it was a sold out venue again, double the capacity. And the way that you normally run an event, if you're a promoter, is the actual physical event. That physical event is supposed to cover all the fixed costs for the stuff that's there. May not necessarily cover something like the fighters, and as I showed earlier, the pay-per-views more than covered that amount. So the sold out venue, this is where it gets a little tricky. I did look into it. To rent a stadium, especially a 21,500 capacity stadium, you scale anywhere from $250,000, which just so happens to be the exact amount he lost, surprisingly, all the way up to $1,500,000, and that would be for something like the MetLife Stadium in New York. Now, there's also different back-end deals. All of these are usually negotiated because sometimes whoever has the stadium will say, all right, well, we'll give you a lower upfront cost, but you have to give us back-end on the tickets. We don't know any of what that is. My estimation would be somewhere around $500,000. Yeah, and you can pull up the Ticketmaster data that I was able to pull up. Now, you can't get his Ticketmaster prices anymore for what the event was, but luckily, I'm autistic enough to reach into the past and figure this out. It's yeah, so that way they can see what the link is, and then I can tell them how to get there. So I was able to find a Reddit post where they were talking about Creator Clash 2, which had a Ticketmaster link. If you click on that Ticketmaster link, you don't get anything. However, if you go back to archive.is, you are able to find where somebody did archive the prices. Now, if we go back to the prices that are there for this event, the nosebleed seats, which is the top row, is, and by the way, that pricing is slightly inaccurate, as I later found out. It's actually $35 that was being charged. It was $35, $45, $55, and then, hold on one second. No, that's fine. We don't need that. It's $35, $55. God, I have to go back and pull up the text message where I actually did the math.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conflicting information.
Yeah, and the thing about this is it's also it's an estimate because I don't know the exact number of seats, and because
we're not trying to overprice these either. We're trying to lowball pretty much.
Okay, here we go. So I had to figure out how much approximately each row was. And I had no way of really figuring it out, so I had to use something a little tricky to figure out, okay, so what's the capacity on the floor? And then divide up the rest of the seat capacity equally. So this is assuming all seat capacity was equal for the first row, second, or the first tier, second, mid-tier, and nosebleeds. That's not going to necessarily be the case. But again, we also don't have the data given to us. We're not seeing how much was pulled in. So the pricing came out to $35, $45, $55, $250, and $500 for floor. Now, keep in mind, with the data that I pulled up with the Ticketmaster stuff, there was a $2,000 tier. Now, what that was for, hell if I know. I'd assume backstage. I assume some sort of meet and greet. We don't have answers. I'm just going to go with what I'm working with. So what I did is I took for the event. So that arena can fit 21,500 people for a concert, which essentially a boxing ring would be able to seat the same capacity as a concert. Then I looked at what their capacity was for a hockey game. The reason why I specifically chose a hockey game is hockey games do not have floor seating because the entire floor is covered in ice. And that amount was 19,092. So subtract the difference of 19,092 from the maximum capacity, 21,500. I was able to get 2,408 floor seats. From there, I just divided the 2 tiers of floor seats in half. And again, this is why we're working with sloppy estimations here. But what we got is...
And they claim to have sold out, right?
Yes, they claim that they have sold every single seat. Everything was sold. There wasn't a single empty seat in that house. These are their words.
I know Turkey Tom was there.
Well, that's another thing that's also interesting because Turkey Tom claimed that it wasn't sold out, like it sold well, but it wasn't completely sold out.
See, well, you don't know.
But we don't know, and we also don't know if scalpers
people
got
get scalpers because I bet you anything that most of the empty seats were tickets that just didn't get resold.
We don't know. And that's
I'm just saying it happens. Like it even happened well, actually no, when I went to Sweeney Todd, that they were almost not all sold, but then it was completely full. So we really don't know, like, because they aren't showing us.
Well, they're not showing us the raw data, and that's what really chaps my ass about this stuff is it's trust me, bro. With all of this, except then you say that you donated money to charity and then you didn't, and then you have people saying, oh yeah, we sold more pay-per-views than before and we had a completely sold out stadium, and then you walk back the more pay-per-views than before and then blame piracy.
Yeah, what the hell?
Well, anyways, okay, to the numbers. So the total math broke down to each of the 3 sections, if assumed that they are all even as far as the amount of seats that they contain, come out to about 6,364 seats per section. The floor seating comes out to about 2,408. I divided the 2,408 in half with the $500 tier and the $250 tier. What I came out with was 602,000 for the $500 tier. 301,000 for the second level tier. For the front row tier, we would approximately get 350,020. Middle row tier, we would get 286,380. And finally, for the nosebleeds at $35 a pop, we would have 222,740. All added up, this would come to a revenue of I'll just read the whole thing, 1,762,140. That is more than enough for everything as far as running an event. That is enough for your security. That is enough to pay them all individually and write a check. If you really, 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 really want it to. That's not how it's normally done. You usually go through a company, and that company hires people to do it, and then they usually have a set amount of people that you have to reserve. We don't know anything about these negotiations.
But my parties. But my gala.
Well, that's one thing he didn't mention was that he had a gala beforehand. And
after.
And for some reason that didn't come into the expenses. Now, I don't know what was at the gala. I didn't watch it. I didn't even bother to pirate this crap because I didn't care. The first one was really good.
Yeah, we actually I
paid money to see the first one, and then I didn't care after that. Because a lot of different things. But the 1.7 million should cover your cost. That should cover your security. That should cover paramedics that need to be on staff. That definitely covers the cost of the ring. Oh, and those fighters, that's already covered in that pay-per-view sales that I broke down earlier at the reduced rate that you gave. But okay, let's say, hey, Ben, you're a retard. No one likes you, and you smell awful, and your degree in business administration is completely worthless. You don't know any of what you're talking about. Well, let's just go off of what Idubbbz says. What Idubbbz has said alone, a $250,000 loss with only $120 of increased expenses. No other expenses we can think of.
Wait, 120 or 120,000?
Or I believe it was 140 when I did the it was 140. It was 140,000
Okay.
for the increase in fighters and fighter cost. Completely sold out arena, that should be covering all that cost, but my hotel is what did it, and you guys didn't buy enough pay-per-views. Here's the thing. Last Creator Clash 1 donated $1.3 million to charity. 1.3 million. So even if you cut that in half, you cut the, oh no, we didn't make 1.3 million in profit, that still leaves you with 500,000, more than that, that should be left over for net profit. That's not being eaten up. Okay, so $140 extra. Okay, so what? 300, or let's just say $500,000 minus 140. That still leaves you with $360,000 to donate. And this is me not knowing anything, unless hotels somehow became $10,000 a room and you stayed there for a year or some shit. That no, what you're saying doesn't make sense. And why would he want to have a loss? Well, as you saw at the beginning of the video, this is really easy. 2 years. It makes taxes really simple when you don't have to claim that you've had an income. And whatever you have claimed as the income, you can just write off as a loss. This is why, and I might be wrong, he might not be doing anything shady with the money. I'm retarded and did the bare minimum of research on this to try and get a general idea. I didn't put effort. I could have easily started calling and trying to figure out, oh, what was this label? What was the ECN of the business that was used? Was it a 501c3 or was it not? Is he running things through his for-profit LLC and then claiming them as a donation or not? No, like, I don't have to go that far because his own story doesn't make sense. And they've already announced Creator Clash 3, and this is what pisses me off. You're already announcing the next one. You've had a massive failure where the charities didn't get money.
Right.
You're celebrating that, oh, now that I've come out in shame of not being able to do what I claimed I did, what was the entire point of doing what I said I was going to do, I'm going to make you pay for it again. Aren't I a good person? Aren't I great for doing a Twitch stream, which, by the way, like and subscribe and make sure to send me those bits. Send them all in. Please send them in and tell me how great I am for doing the same thing I would be doing on an afternoon, playing video games while you fix my mistakes for me. You're not a good person. You didn't do anything. Other people fixed your fuck up. Your whole business, your whole raison d'etre of doing this shit makes 0 sense. I need another beer, by the way. Makes 0 sense. And you don't get applauded because your wife ritualistically humiliates you and you use her as a human meat shield because you know your fans will attack her as the obvious target that she is to somewhat weasel out of blaming you for your mistakes. By the way, she's in charge of the booking. She's in charge of all this stuff. Why isn't she coming out and apologizing for this? I'm not saying this necessarily to attack and hate on her. Believe me, I have my own issues, and her OnlyFans is like the sixth thing that's wrong with her.
Exactly.
What bothers me is that she'll accept the glory whenever things go right, and rightfully so. She should have for the first Creator Clash.
Yeah, no, I was genuinely like
I was
proud of
impressed.
them.
I was proud of her. I felt that she did a lot that goes. But then when things start going wrong, when there's obvious setbacks that go on, suddenly it's Ian stepping up. And then of course he immediately, you know, oh, don't be mean to my wife. No, bully my wife. No, do this. You know exactly what that's doing. You've been getting crapped on for her for years. You know damn well you're using her as a human meat shield. Okay? You could easily go in, you could open up your books, you could show us where you screwed up. You could go over the boring accounting of this crap, show where you made mistakes, show the public, because if the public is the one with the interest in the charities and all that stuff, show us why charity now isn't getting money because you failed. Did it all get eaten up by a magical thing called overhead cost? Oh, did you magically put somebody's mom as an advertiser who then just tweets shit all day? Did you magically just pay people for press releases and then all of a sudden that got eaten up? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, hotel stays and an extra $140,000 to pay fighters isn't adding up to $250,000 loss. And the fact that people are even trusting him. Oh, what he said? Oh, he said it? Oh no. Oh, that's so sad. There's no way he would be lying or just pocketing the money. Oh, there's no way he'd be misappropriating the funds. Oh, there's no way that he'd be doing something sketchy with the taxes so that he doesn't have to work for 2 years, but then could easily just keep pocketing it, but then write off his pocketing the own money as a donation. Therefore, he doesn't have to pay taxes on it at all, and he gets paid. That's bullshit. And that's what pisses me off. It'd be one thing if it failed. They said they're not doing a Creator Clash again. They need to restructure and rethink of things. And then I saw Creator Clash 3 already underway. Oh, I'm already starting retarded beefs with people because I'm an attention whore on the internet, and that's what I get paid to do. I'm a dancing monkey because I refuse to get a real job and work like a normal person. I hate all of these influencer type people. I can't fucking stand any of them. All of them are dancing monkeys for clout that don't deserve any respect. They all pretend to be experts on shit when they barely do the bare minimum of research. At least with me coming in here, for one, I'm not a fucking internet personality. I work a real job and I have no desire to ever become one. But secondly, all I have to do is take what he said and show that the number doesn't add up. Everything else I just did was for fun. I probably got some shit wrong. I'm working with only estimates. I'm trying to dig through with numbers, and guess what? It gets really hard to go through Google and start finding shit, especially when all this shit starts disappearing. And I know I'm not crazy here because other people have said that finding things on the internet, finding things via search engines has gotten slowly more hard. Yeah. But even if all of that shit is wrong, the base explanation still doesn't stand up to scrutiny, and he should be called to task for it. Because it's not you had no money to give to charity. It's that you're saying you lost $250,000 on top of having nothing, despite having a double capacity sold out arena. Allegedly, we don't know. We don't know. My numbers may be completely off on the 1.7 million. I don't know.
So, yeah, we basically just want it to be more clear, and we are... Like, I'm inviting people to prove us wrong because, like, I would like to be wrong. And I want to say, I personally will not accuse either of them of pocketing any money. I am not saying that. I don't know about you, Ben, but I don't think they pocketed any money. I think that this is just so horribly mishandled that they fucked it up so bad that they just completely forgot about the charity thing. Like, yes, good for them. They donated like 50K to something beforehand. Probably good thing you did that.
Allegedly. I need to see proof of this. I'm sorry.
I know. But
and the only reason the apology video came out is because Froggy Fresh called to confirm the donation, and then no donation was ever made to the charities.
Speaking of Froggy Fresh, I'm gonna share this.
Oh boy! So you know what really helps when you are looking at a $250,000 loss. And here's the thing: when was this made? In March, so they still had a week to, you know what? We've seen the pay-per-view sales. It's not selling like it did before. We're looking at half as before. We're overspending on the hotel. You have somebody that's willing to donate $100,000 to reinstate Froggy Fresh to do a fight. Okay, still doesn't cover the loss, but hey, that's something. And then Atwigger, who is Sam Hyde, was willing to pay $500,000 to fight Nathan Barnett, dad. And that would have been an
Can
interesting
you believe that
fight,
shit? Sam Hyde.
Well, with Sam Hyde, I could believe anything. The dude.
I know, but no. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing that Idubbbz was so personally hurt. And again, I love Idubbbz. I love the old Idubbbz. I think he's a great person. I want to see him be great again, okay? But this is a shell of himself. And the fact that he could be so bothered by Sam Hyde that he would turn down $500,000 fucking dollars. Actually, no, $600,000, because that's the whole reason that he didn't want to have anything to do with
this would have put them in the black for $350K. And again, these are according to Idubbbz numbers. $350K would have been able to have been raised for charity. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Sam Hyde is wild. Sam Hyde will do or say something that's horrible. Send a contract. Send a contract specifically that fines him for doing something that he's not allowed to. We've seen Sam Hyde fight in a thing before, and I don't really see much objectionable about yelling, "Oh, what is a dolphin?" That was hilarious.
I love
when he did that. But you don't want him to go off on Anisa fine. You set a fine. You make him sign the contract. You set a fine and a fixed rate for it. Yeah, he'll probably try and weasel around, whatnot. You get a lawyer to write it. You talk to Ben Shapiro and you say, hey, when you're not busy screwing over Steven Crowder, who's too busy actually being the prima donna you said he was, because all of you internet people are horrible, shitty people. Could you write the contract and send those terms over? So he could have been $350K in the black for the charities, but he chose not to do it. And then here's another thing. Nathan Barnett, and I don't want to get too much into it because that's a rabbit hole in itself. But if you can watch videos about Nathan Barnett's experience at Creator Clash, he's talked about it. He says he will never do it again. And, oh yeah. So apparently the whole thing was, and Froggy Fresh made tweets about it. I would pull up the tweets if Elon Musk didn't turn Twitter into a complete, totally unusable shithole. I'm not going to start an account there. I don't trust Mr. Brainchip Man who wants to sell me his retarded car that doesn't get built right. Idubbbz and Anisa were ragging on Nathan Barnett, claiming he was a rapist.
Yeah, okay. I just gotta say, fuck them for doing that, because he is a great guy. I love him. He said happy birthday to me last year on his stream. not that would, but no, I
rapist would never do that.
Yeah, no, that justifies it. But no, that's fucked up. I hate false accusations. I hate or rumors or anything. It's fucking retarded. Yeah, that whole situation was really stupid.
But they made they made jokes about it. They laughed about it. Everyone was making jokes about how Nathan Barnett was a rapist. H3H3 had some beef where they were trying to like passive aggressively put pressure on him and taking shots at him and shitting on him because whoever the person that does their shitty podcast that was in the event, they felt that he should have won or some I don't know. It's Ethan Klein. He's always starting retarded beefs while also crying in pain as the victim.
Wait. Was that the video where they were like, "Oh no," and reacting to it?
Yeah.
Oh god, that was so fucking cringy.
Well, anyways, okay. So here's another thing with Idubbbz and Anisa. If Nathan Barnett is legitimately a rapist, why aren't you kicking him off your card? And if he isn't, why are you going around saying that he is? Because that doesn't look good on you for your event. If that joke, somehow gets around that, oh, you have a rapist on the undercard.
No idea why that came up on screen all of a sudden.
I don't know.
Oh, wait. It's because I clicked on it.
Lol.
I didn't know I could do that. Oh, shit. Here, I'll show this one.
There you go. Oh, which one are you sharing?
You'll see in a second.
Ethan Ralph is also scared of cock.
All right.
I don't even. Wake me up when Ralph's drunk again. That's all I have to say. He was very entertaining to watch for a while.
Yeah.
Somebody may have visited a certain Hindu temple in his hometown and gave offerings. I felt like sometimes like some of the people that messed with him kind of went too far, because what always made like stuff that people did with Ralph really funny is people would do like very gentle pokes that were also still like kind of like good natured, like giving him food or giving him diapers, like Jesse from Pod Awful did. It's a bit of a poke, but that's genuinely something that's good natured, and then he'd overreact to it, and that's what made it funny. And then it turned into, I'm gonna beat your ass in Portugal. and like with Kagi had good reason, and they have a whole history and beef that will take.
All right, let's get back to the.
Wake me up when Ralph's drunk again. So back to the whole thing with this. I have theories, because you're not willing to say that he pocketed the money. I'm willing to say it looks a hell of a lot like he pocketed the money. And then tried to claim a loss to weasel out of giving money to the charities. And all these fighters and all these like YouTube e-friends that are all cheering on this event and on trying to say, oh, it's for charity, it's not for our clout and ego, despite, we added a gala. We have a whole circle jerk where we all, tell each other how great we are and hang out in our safe space.
Who's the guy that said...
Wait, what?
Who was the guy that it was in the clip that said, I did this for charity, also for money?
Oh, he was like from WWE. He was the guy that was with Dad. Yeah, he's a dude from WWE.
Yeah, so straight up, like at least he was honest about it.
Yeah, and I mean the thing about $20,000 is if you're a wrestler who's already like probably all you have to do is tell your company at WWE, hey, can we just change my cardio routine to boxing and get me on a boxing routine? It won't affect what I do here. It'll probably help. But if you guys could pay that for me and I pocket this $20K, that's great. And that's fine. Like, hey, he got $20K for, the stipend that was set aside. It was equal. If he has free access to something that other people don't, why not take that advantage?
we have a OG in the comments or in the chat. He learned about me through the Ralph retort before he got arrested. That's crazy. That's a long time ago. That's like back in like 2014, 2015.
Wait, is this the same guy that said Leafy versus Idubbbz?
Yes.
So here's the crazy thing with that, the whole Leafy versus Idubbbz. First of all, and if I was Leafy, would I agree to something? First of all, where you're going to get paid a pittance, you're going to get paid $20,000 to learn how to really box and dedicate all your time to it. Now, Leafy has all the time in the world because he made all his money off YouTube. He retired and then he started investing in certificates and shit. And all his stuff has been just investing. So his money now makes money. Anything he does is for fun. And as a result, his content stopped being shit. There's a massive height advantage because Idubbbz is 6'2". There's a massive weight advantage as well because I don't know what Idubbbz breaks down to, but I think it's somewhere around 200.
He has a chin.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the advantage that Leafy has is he doesn't have a chin, so you can't glass jaw him right there. So, and I mean, you can take hits directly to the face without getting knocked out. It's the hits you don't see because it rocks your brainstem when your head turns that quickly and you don't see it and you can't like brace for it. But if I were Leafy, first off, I wouldn't agree to his event. I don't think any creator should agree to his event because we've seen what happens. At best, it's mismanaged. At worst, they're pocketing the money and using charity as a meat shield. And then after that, Idubbbz uses Anisa as a meat shield and says, "Oh, don't make fun of my girlfriend. It was me. Wink, wink. Oh, no, please don't be mean. Oh, don't emasculate me. Oh, look how great I am.
I'm doing a great job at doing it myself."
Yeah, I'm doing so good. I did it all by myself, except for when I said that she was doing it and she was on top of it and she was so smart and good at this. Like,
and I wanted to mention about the responses that his apology got, just briefly because that's not why we're here. But Leafy and Tana and everyone that Idubbbz apologized to didn't give a single shit. They were like, "Why are you apologizing? Please stop. Go back to who you were."
Well, but another thing too is Anisa, according to her and Idubbbz, helped write the script. She was the one that actually came up.
Yes, I don't know if a lot of people know that.
For him to go and use the one word that you never want to call a black person, the one word you never want to say to a black man in your life. I think we all know what word that is, and that's neighbor. You never want to call a black man neighbor in your life. But she was the one that arranged going and doing that at the concert. She's the one that wrote out the scripts for a lot of these things, but she's not the one that's apologizing for her role in a lot of this stuff.
And we kind of think that it's because that they changed because YouTube changed, not because they had a change of heart or a moral awakening. They are enlightened. Oh, they no longer carry the burden of racism and having zero empathy, apparently. They have gained 120% empathy by realizing that words hurt people.
But then that's exactly it. Is Idubbbz never really dropped content super frequently, but it was every couple months, and then you could expect something that came out. It was usually fairly offensive. Adpocalypse happened, and then all of a sudden, it's squirrel videos.
Yeah.
And okay, all right, you're doing one squirrel video, you're doing two squirrel video. Where's the rest? It's kind of like H3H3. They used to have their thing out of nowhere, and they weren't even that offensive to begin with. They get demonetized. Yeah. So what do? Well, they personally knew Susan Wojcicki before they got the Indian dude that's the head of YouTube now. And then all of a sudden it became about their podcast. The podcast, which I'm still not convinced anyone actually watches because it shows up in my autoplay all the fucking time. And no matter how many times I hit dislike on the fucking thing, it'll still randomly play while I'm asleep. And the thing
That is what it has become.
I'm not going to go too hard on Anisa. But the thing is,
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't hold somebody accountable at a corporate position, I'm not even saying, you know what, if she fire her, she's evil, she's the devil. No, if she made mistakes by thinking, you know what, I think a gala would really help, I could understand that. You fucked up, but you got to own that, because you learn from these mistakes, and showing where the money went shows you're learning from these mistakes. I think that, you know, at one point during Creator Clash 1, she probably actually did have honest intentions of learning to box and fighting. I don't see why she wouldn't want to do that.
It was successful.
But she does get the $20,000 for that, and then once she's injured, she still gets to keep that money. And then on top of that, she's still arranging the fights. So I get it. It definitely looks bad. I'll say that much. I don't want to accuse her of she's definitely pocketing money and she's grifting and but I think all e-celebs to a certain extent are grifters. You'd have a normal job with health insurance if you weren't.
Yeah, and she probably wouldn't. Well, okay, and she still has the OnlyFans, whatever. That's fine. Yeah,
that's like the fifth thing that's wrong with her, dude. You want
right? Yeah, that's the least of their.
You want to do that? That's fine. Just don't be surprised when people, you know, take those pictures and then make a sock puppet out of it and start, you know, making musicals and content from that crap.
Hey, so yeah, we are not. We're not hating on anyone.
I am. They shouldn't be doing a third one. They need to open their books.
I mean, like, we're not haters. Like, we are not people who go out of our way to shit on e-celebs. This is the first stream that we've done together in how many months? Like, probably over a year.
Well, to be fair, I've been spending all my time researching Ram Ranch.
Exactly.
Because those videos are coming out. That isn't just a thing that I said to, you know, keep a running joke going. No. I am legitimately focused on all 300 installments of Ram Ranch and breaking down and analyzing the contiguous story throughout. I mean, I feel on one hand, okay, well, I miss the old Idubbbz, whatever. I get that. I get why he changed. I think he changed for the money. I think it was retarded that he, you know, went and said, oh, well, now I hate my old fans and suddenly I'm remorseful and I was coming from a place of moral grandstanding, so I'm going to morally grandstand over all of you while I disavow myself and the people that are subscribed to me. And then my wife goes and browbeats anybody that says something negative. Which, by the way, you shouldn't be sending in your wife to defend you. I'm sorry, bro. Like, that's not a thing you should be doing. She shouldn't be hopping to your side, having to come to your defense for your decisions. And I know, believe me, she gets a lot of hate, and I get it. But I think it's just as duplicitous the other way, too. I think he knows just what he's doing, and he's one of those people that plays, oh, I'm a poor victim. Oh, I love you, sweetie.
Well,
please don't hit me
he
anymore.
also...
Oh, does everyone feel sorry for me? Oh, she says I shit myself. Oh.
Wait, no, you're ruining them.
Everyone's seen that clip by now.
Well, I'm gonna show it anyways because I know my viewers probably haven't. But fuck, I was gonna say something and I forgot.
Yeah, yes, indeed, God Pikachu Ram Ranch. Don't worry, you will find out what happens to Sean. You will be impressed when Santa gets involved. Jesus Christ's second coming? We'll see. Yeah. Well, I feel that Idubbbz plays victim. And he does it purposely in a passive-aggressive, shitty way. where he plays victim purposely, he plays the martyr, lets himself be hurt, and then like does it in a way where people look at him like some sort of abused husband of some kind. And likewise, there's 100 videos on her. I feel like I'm just adding to the shit pile.
Yeah, well, it was just something that he said about his content, because like he's misrepresenting his own content, and I think it's, I don't know. I want to.
Well, wasn't the whole point of his whole content, because we were talking about this earlier, about the GoFundMe.
Okay, hold up. I remembered what I was gonna say. He didn't have to make a video about it. He didn't have to make a video about her having an OnlyFans and how he feels about it. He could have just shut the fuck up about it, and people probably would have stopped making fun of him as much. And her. But no, because they engaged, and she engaged, and her mom engaged. Like, and he literally came out saying, I like it. It's good. That just opened it up for people to shit on him. It's like, do you not understand what you're doing? You're becoming the people you used to make fun of.
I think it would have been funnier if he just dressed up like a pimp during one of her photo shoots and made her was commanding her what to do on a stripper pole.
Play into it and make it funny.
That shit would have been hilarious to me.
That would have been amazing. But no, he had to get mad about it.
Or he just cried in the corner.
Yeah, just chill. It's not that serious. Yes, Filthy Frank, he jumped ship at the right time, and now he's doing great. And so did Leafy.
But the whole point of what was it? So when we were talking earlier, Idubbbz used to do Kickstarter crap and go on about how people were getting scammed, how people were getting screwed over by these fake Kickstarters that were most likely pocketing the money. He had no proof if they were pocketing the money or not, but it looked like bullshit. It smelled like bullshit. It was probably bullshit. And at the very best, it was mismanagement where the money was going to get wasted and the people giving the money weren't really giving the money to what they thought they were giving it to. And at worst, it was just a ripoff. I feel somehow, because the one thing, by the way, I've given a financial breakdown right now of what the finances approximately are. A very lazy, poorly done breakdown, because all I really needed was literally his numbers to show that it doesn't equal out to a $250K loss. Where was I going with this? I've been drinking too much.
Wait, say what you want about Idubbbz, but he's still doing better than France? Who's France? Oh, you mean the country? Ooh.
That's debatable. I mean, on one hand, yeah, I get it. You have a bunch of, refugees not respecting your country and burning it down. But on the other hand, your country has basically been fucking with you for 4 years now? Hey, they're doing the jobs that the French citizens aren't willing to do.
Like take care of the woman.
I mean, that's dark.
Hold doors open and walk them across the street.
I disavow that, and I disavow anyone that finds that funny, and I'm going to donate all the proceeds of this stream to charity.
Oh, yeah.
All 0%, all negative $250K that I make. I'm going to be billing charities for my losses.
I would like everybody to donate to the prostate cancer fund.
You don't even have a prostate.
No, because Ian's so butthurt. I think he needs it.
Ian has become his own Kickstarter crap. Creator Clash has become his own Kickstarter crap. The people pushing it are only pushing it because they're friends with him, and because they're not even bothering to do the research to stop for a minute and say, dude, wait a second. What are you doing with this money? Seriously, what are you doing with this money? Can you at least show me the books? Can you at least, hey, I'm not saying none of them are doing that. And there is a chance, yeah, he maybe lost $250,000. That's a lot of money to lose, and I really need to see some numbers before I believe that, because it's not adding up.
And if that is the case, then it's even more mismanaged than we could have possibly even imagined, or they're totally lying or hiding, not necessarily lying. I'm not accusing anyone of lying personally, but they might be hiding what the real numbers that they sold are. What if they fucking sold almost no pay-per-view tickets? I doubt it. But what if they're just totally full of shit about that? And they really just totally failed this time. Why would you make another one? We need to know.
Unless they're doing it at a Holiday Inn and they plan on cutting their costs, but then all their friends won't want to go box for it. There's so much that's just wrong with this picture. And what I think might also be happening, because one of the other things is, okay, they may have actually lost $250,000, but it may have all gotten wasted at the gala. It may have all gotten wasted on frivolous shit like catering and friends and spending way too much time at the hotel, like spending an entire week there all together partying. May have been wasted on fucking alcohol.
Was it as mismanaged as Ralphomania? Worse.
Worse. No, okay.
100%
being
worse.
Completely honest, Ralph, I followed the Ralphomania arc. I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to summon.
But it's a good comparison because they're both YouTubers who have done.
They're both YouTubers. They both have their fan base. Ralph supposedly had a loss, but even at the highest estimation of the loss, it was a few thousand, which that hurts. But I think he could probably, take that kind of a blow. He can stomach that kind of a loss. And at the end of the day, despite, the I won't get served papers stuff that happened, and then you get served the same papers 50,000 times. Okay, that's all funny, but at the end of the day, money-wise, he still was doing it. He was still getting what he needed for his fans, and every single person that was interested in that event got exactly what they expected, what they wanted, and the money went exactly where they were hoping it went. Say what you want, and believe me, there's plenty you could say about Ralph. They might as well ask him to fucking manage it, honestly. I'm not joking. Ethan Ralph for Creator Clash 3 manager. Let's go. This has to happen.
Yes.
Unironically, because at least he won't lose $250K. And if he does, we know it'll at least go to his children. And I think that's a worthy cause. Dislike. 480K paid to fighters. That's a whole lot of money that didn't go to charity. I can see why people feel that way, but I would personally consider it part of the fixed costs, because that would also be saying paying the security at the event is a whole lot of money that didn't go to charity. Paying the venue is a whole lot of money that didn't go to charity. And in reality, yeah, you're right. You want to do more than Idubbbz has ever done for charity? Go find a local homeless person on your street corner and give them $1. You have officially done more than Idubbbz ever has to help people. And by the way, giving money to charity, not the most efficient way to help someone. As I said earlier, all the money just gets sucked up to a magical realm called overhead and administration costs. I
do want to say though that yes, you have a valid point with that being part of the cost. I agree. However, they should have thought about that before telling everyone that it was all for charity and having all of the fighters kind of not really say that they're doing
so
it
this
for
is
money.
where
Yes, they were, you know, transparent about that, but the people paying for it, a lot of them were fooled into thinking it was all for charity.
Well, that's
So
how they weasel out of it, is because they specifically say all profits go to charity, so it's all technically donation.
Exactly.
But you can rack up that expense side to whatever the hell you want. Now, for actual like boxing lessons, boxing training, and spending time learning how to box, $20K is on the low side. I mean, what was it? Andy Worski got paid $50K to learn how to, you know, box and all that stuff. That was his stipend for that. And that was a purely for-profit thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying it does make sense, but I also agree with the people who are pissed because like it could have gone to charity. He could have asked people to come on for charity, and he wanted to pay his fighters. That's great, but he should have calculated that in for the charity that he wanted to donate to. That's what I think.
Well, okay. Even so, okay, 1.7 million is my estimation on what the and again, that's just the estimate. We don't know the exact numbers, but that still covers that fixed cost. Okay, well, all the other stuff, the pay-per-view alone on the lowest end, because the more accurate one was 1,240,000. That covers the cost of the fighters easily. And that's at the $50,000 rate. That's not the extra 1,300,000 that they can donate to charity because they got 100,000 pay-per-view subscribers. And again, I don't get how you get a $250K loss from losing half, but losing half of your pay-per-view that you had a $1,300,000 profit from somehow equals a negative $250K.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we're kind of scratching our heads here.
Yeah. So the way I see the boxers getting paid is I see that as staff. And a lot of people, you know, don't necessarily agree with that. They should be, you know, if they're donating, they should be donating their time. I don't necessarily agree with that per se. I personally would like to see them go in completely untrained because I find it hilarious when two people get into a fight and nobody knows what the hell they're doing. That is funny to me. That is peak comedy. That is what I want it to see. But you know, they're not going to do that. And let's be honest, how could you get people to agree to do an event like that? It's like, hey, you're going to get physically assaulted and you're not going to get paid any money for it, but don't worry, you're getting paid in charity feel goods. Oh, and the charities that we're donating to, they're all taking that money and they're giving it to a magical land called administration costs.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what's up with Sam Hyde? What's he doing?
I'm just trying to show people what they should be rooting for in the next Creator Clash.
I'm not rooting for shit. There's no way I'm paying for it. You know what? No, I didn't care about Creator Clash 2. Creator Clash 3, I will proactively teach people how to pirate it, and then have pirating parties to make sure that they don't get any money with seeing how reckless it is.
Disavow.
I will proactively show people how to go on different websites to find that shit.
No, I'm talking about Sam Hyde taking over the Creator Clash.
Well, that was one thing. So that's another thing that I end up finding out is apparently people are trying to buy out the Creator Clash thing from Idubbbz and Anisa, and they're refusing to sell it because it means so much to them and whatnot. And after the first one, okay, I could kind of see that. But the second one rolls around and you're saying there's a $250K loss. Hold on a second. Now you're showing me you don't know how to manage it, but for some reason you're still holding on to it. And by the way, announcing that loss has now devalued their offer to you because they're not going to come back to you with the same offer they made to buy rights to that.
They have done they've been too open about the dumbest shit and then hiding shit that's legitimately relevant.
Well, they need to open up the books. Open up the books because if it's a 501c3, hey, let me know what the name of the 501c3 is. In my free time, I will go free of charge. I'm not going to charge any of you for this because I'm just that autistic that I'll look at this for fun. And I will look at the books and I will tell you where they lost the money. Because a 501c3 is open for auditing because they're not allowed to have private taxes. It's not like your personal tax return where that's all private information. A 501c3 has to have public books. They have to show everything. It's why you can go through PETA's books and you can see that they spend money on giant freezers, which are most likely used for cadavers. Because PETA kills animals. Yeah, people don't know that PETA kills animals. They kill about 2/3 of the animals they take in. And then the rest of the money goes to a magical land called overhead cost. Administrative fees. Ha ha! I'm a good person for giving money and time to this.
I love that the way you said that it was echoing because we're in the same room and I can hear you through my headphones, so that was very dramatic.
I blame everyone else for myself.
No, it was very, very effective. So, was there anything else that you wanted to bring up? And if anyone has any questions, suggestions...
Yeah, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll answer it. I'm going to be honest. I don't have exact numbers. Some of the information I have very well may be wrong. These are all very rough estimates. I do want to, again, give credit to Bo Black. I don't think he was right about certain things, but he was on the right track with a lot of stuff. And he's literally the only other person that bothered looking at the numbers. And that's the one thing that shocked me, and the only reason I wanted to even stream this is not a single person has bothered looking at the numbers at all. And that blows my mind because you look at the numbers, they don't make sense on their own. Okay, I'm gonna read your chat for a bit.
I liked the Bookie versus Wings fight. I saw that. I didn't know Wing was fighting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he won. He beat.
I was thinking Wing the singer.
You know, oh, that would have been a better fight, honestly. So Boogie 298 fought Wings of Redemption. Wings won, and I always doubted that Boogie was a pacifist. And then I saw him in
Boogie actually fought?
Yes. And
okay. I need to see that.
He didn't even throw a single punch. So I believe him now. I believe, like, you see Boogie in the street, you could literally go and beat the shit out of him, and he will basically just crawl in a fetal position.
What did he throw? His gun?
His trunks actually came off in the middle of the fight.
What? That's awesome.
And they had to tape the shit to him. It was crazy.
Honestly. Really? Do you think Boogie's hit rock bottom? That's crazy.
It's hard to say.
I don't know much about him. I just thought he looked better, but he could not be doing better. I don't know.
I mean, the divorce was a big blow. I think rock bottom was when he lost all his life savings to the cryptocurrency hype because everyone suddenly jumped on crypto. Because now he doesn't have the money that he used to. And he's not going to ever get like the views or the ad revenue or anything ever again.
Yeah.
So I saw somebody earlier talking about the COG versus Warski thing. I don't want to go on too much about that. I will say COG was very not nice to me the next day because of how drunk I got on his stream.
Well, yeah.
And he deleted the stream, but whatever. I don't care.
I know. It's still on Jesse's, though. Yeah. But
whoever thought that guy would be the hero of the internet.
But he really is. He's an upstanding citizen. That man. Don't go near him. But he's a great person.
He terrifies me, but I like him.
Yeah.
I like that he scares me.
But yeah, apparently Andy denied a fight with Cog. That's what they said.
No, I followed it, so it's weird. Like, it's the same shit that always happens in internet blood sports crap. That's why IBS shits the bed every day. They challenge each other.
IBS shits the bed. Who knew?
Yep.
Speaking of IBS.
Oh, yeah, play the clip.
Well, I want to ask Radjor a question first.
Okay.
Radjor.
Wait, we should get Radjor in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can.
Well, if you can. I just want to
Yes,
ask
you
him if
can.
you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
What a Chad. What an alpha Chad.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
That's
fuck toilets. Just shit right there. As far as like the thing goes, they try. Andy said, "Okay, well, you have to pay me to fight because I'm not gonna fight you for free." Cog said, "No, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna show up with Dan." It's like, dude, Dan's not your bodyguard, but okay. Well, all right. Well, if we're gonna do this, let's set up a professional. No, I'm gonna meet you in the streets of Toronto, and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Andy was like, okay, well, I'm not going to meet you. You're fucking insane. Talk to me when you get some actual promoters to do this and like handle this professionally. And then Cog all of a sudden said, oh, that thing I said to go beat up Andy in Toronto. No, it was just for me to take a trip to Toronto. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. All right. Well,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Money, I guess. I don't know. I don't care that much. Like, if you're dumb enough to give money hoping for, Portugal too, but in Toronto, like, I don't know what to say. Like, you should invest it. Like, my issue with Idubbbz is that he's continuously using charity as his grift, and that rubs me the wrong way.
I really think that started with Anisa because he said himself, I thought we'd at least be doing it for money. Isn't that sad? Oh, and really quick, I wanted to show you the exact moment when this man lost.
Ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
Look at his face.
Because since I've known you.
I would have thought it was when he dressed in drag, posing sensually for the camera.
I think that was after that. No, this broke him down to the point where he was ready to do this.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Keep it paused there. I'm reading the thing. Eat spaghetti for 500. What the fuck? Like,
yeah, no. 500 eat spaghetti, 1K open coconut, 5K throat chop. I have no idea what that means.
So right here, I'm seeing the first 3 tiers are I'm gonna eat food.
These are all Anisa's
fix my
ideas.
fuck ups because I'm gonna eat food. Isn't that exciting? I'm gonna eat food. I'm gonna keep myself alive. Necking yourself would make for better content. You fucking attention whore. You grifting attention whore that has taken money out of the charities.
Charity.
Oh, much charities. Look at what a good person I am for asking you to fix my fuck ups. Oh yeah. Wait. What did Pikachu say? He pooped himself. Cog has to delete streams because YouTube is fucking with his monetization. He uploads it back to his Rumble channel. Okay, so nope. Cog offered to meet Orsky in a gym and fight, and said Orsky wins, he will give him $2,000. Well, if he wins. That's the thing. If you do a boxing match, you get paid regardless. Sometimes there's a bigger payout to the winner. That's part of the purse. But if it's like, oh, beat me up, I'm going to fight you. whatnot. Like, it's handled kind of dumb. Like if Cog went to Keemstar, blessed be his name. Of all people that had a redemption arc, Keemstar, the guy that is best known for dropping N-bombs on the internet,
King the Queen,
is now the guy that gets people to stop saying the N-word on the internet, using the power of money and boxing contracts.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Ralph was supposed to be in.
I guarantee this audience knows.
No, I highly doubt it. My audience doesn't really.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Follow them. But no, Ralph was supposed to fight who? Andy. Yeah, and all he had to do was just not say neighbor or father on stream. Just don't say it.
The words you never want to call a black man or a homosexual.
Exactly. So he couldn't do it. It wasn't physically possible for him. I think that he's gonna have to go through some intense therapy, which he will not do before he can change or forget the muscle memory of saying those words on a constant basis. I think it's just not going to happen until he really commits.
I mean, when he was sober, but then he's not as entertaining when he's sober. So
yeah, and Pikachu said that he has started doing Xanax again.
Wait, what?
No, you don't say.
Hold on a sec. I might need to start tuning in. Alpha males rise up.
Pikachu said,
hope you die, cancer man.
Pikachu said funnel chair Idubbbz.
You know what? Ethan Ralph should fight Idubbbz.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Because I think that would just fuck with people's head. They would have no clue who the fuck to root for.
Wait. It says
Habanero dinner. Bro.
Oh, okay, so you're eating the same kind of dinner I would make myself on a Wednesday.
Right.
Oh, you had habanero poppers? Oh, man.
I wonder if Anisa made it. No. It was just
150 it was girly pop, so I guess that explains that picture you showed earlier. And then 250 is go bald. Oh, you mean the thing you did 100 times with Filthy Frank? Okay. Cool.
Wow, I didn't know he called it girly pop. That's kind of...
Yeah, wake me up when you're willing to put your testicles in a fucking mousetrap.
Okay, so he's bald now. Then, if he made his goal, then he should be bald. That's great. Anything is better than what the hell is going on with him right now. No offense.
Oh, what you mean where he plays a victim and tries to say, "Oh, guys, don't bully my wife," even though she's really makes me do all these things, and she's the one that changed me. Wink, wink.
I'm specifically talking about the physical appearance, but that also kind of goes in line.
I mean,
the pedo stash I was never a fan of, and
I think he should have just let into it, get the pedo glasses to go with it.
Yes, no, he should have gone.
Make a baby with Anisa.
Literally looked like Jeffrey Dahmer on that fucking stream. I'm not kidding. I thought that when I saw him and I tuned in, I was like,
he should have gone full Jeffrey Dahmer.
This is a spitting image of Evan Peters as Jeffrey Dahmer right now.
Let's see.
He just needs the glasses.
God Pikachu. Gunt has to use those words because he thinks it makes him gangsta.
No.
That's true though.
That's actually a lot deeper than I thought it would be. So I'm actually like thinking and processing that a bit because it's like, does he really think it makes him gangsta? And then I see like stuff with him with the Tupac shirt and stuff. It's like, okay, on one hand, yes, but then on the other hand, he's like horribly racist. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is he's like race. He'll like shit all over somebody for their race, but then the next minute, he'll talk about how much he loves, black culture and hip hop and stuff. Like, again.
Well, yeah, that's what those type of people do.
And when he's sober, it makes sense because it's like, well, no, I'm not racist. I just like edgy humor. That's why the Ralph retort was successful with, and he was, dating Nora and life was good and everything was happy in his life and. No, well, Cog wasn't within. No, so the whole. No, well, he shit on Cog, but the Cog thing was because the girl, like, he was talking about like going and raising another woman's kids in Louisiana, and like the girl was like a total lot lizard, and she was like fucking other dudes behind his back, and that all
was
came
someone
out.
else.
No, that was Cog. That was where the
not
whole
his
Cog.
wife, though.
No, his
Yeah,
wife.
no, that's not his current wife.
His wife,
I was
as far
saying
as
that
I
I
know,
thought
is an
that he
Indian
made
woman with
fun
a
of.
kid.
I was saying I thought that Ralph made fun of Cog's wife's race, but I could be wrong.
No.
Okay. I would not put it past him.
No, Andy
trying to
Worski
think
and
about it.
PPP did, but come on.
Really?
Yeah, would you expect less? Come on.
Wow.
Now. It took
Come
them a
on,
long time,
guys.
but they got around to it.
Internet blood sports is back. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, no, it's not internet blood sports anymore. It's just IBS because everyone's shitting the bed because everyone on the internet's a fucking retard. Because nobody gets a normal fucking job and just does a 9 to 5 and then goes and enjoys a Van Gogh exhibit or goes to a concert or touches pee-pees with their neighbor.
Gunn is far from gangsta. He lives in a rented house in Mexico. Yeah, I guess that's the latest. I don't even know.
Wait, Chris Strausser, this is all sour grapes. Turn the other cheek. Wait, I'm confused. Like, who's the sour cheeks? Or
sour cheeks.
Yeah, which sour? I've been drinking. So.
Clap them sour cheeks.
That goes great on a stream.
Clap them sour cheeks.
No, okay, so wait. Who should turn the other cheek? I'm confused. So my issue with Idubbbz, I'd have no problem if, like, you know what, you fucked up, you did a scam, it didn't go well, you tried to make it right by getting other people to pay for it, whatever. But then Creator Clash 3 comes along. It's like, oh, you've learned nothing. There's been no growth. And whatnot. If you're talking about like Worski and Ralph and all them, like Ralph, like he's entertaining when he's drunk. Wake me up when he's drunk again. Other than that, I don't really have any ill will or anything. Cog, whatever. Like I'll watch him if he's doing a good show. He has an Indian wife. I love Bollywood culture and Indian food. Other than that, don't have much to say. Don't interact with him much. Worski, I've never had issues with him. Or any of that. So
PPP.
I love PPP.
Is a holy man.
PPP is he is entertainment gold.
See, okay.
But I have a soft spot because of the Simspiracy. So
Pikachu says that they've all made comments about his wife, which I mean.
Makes
sense.
All right then. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's Indian, and you're dealing with like internet retards. What do you expect?
Exactly. So yeah, it's all a little degenerate. There's been a lot of stuff happening.
I think she had a kid. I know that like on one of there's a picture of her in like one of the streams because it's supposed to be like the girl that like he interviewed the day after when he like left Portugal and went to Sweden on vacation, but pretended that he was back in England.
Okay.
Yeah. And at least the girl in that picture seemed somewhat attractive, but I'm fond of Indians, so what can I say? I love street shitters.
Well, now did you read his comment?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't read the comment. What?
The one that's at me.
Oh, at funny chair.
No, the bottom one at me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gun, Worski, and PPP have all made racist comments about Cog's wife. The latest Cog lore is that
I wasn't gonna read it.
Cog has no indoor plumbing and he likes to shit in a bucket.
You literally like made a joke about it without even realizing.
Well, I guess you now know where your Toronto money went, everybody. Hey, honestly, a more worthy cause than getting into a fight in Toronto.
No, I'm glad that he found someone. I'm glad they're together. Personally. Yeah. But anyways, so I guess one thing that I've been kind of following that I find interesting, and someone who has built a business from the ground up but was involved with a scam. This isn't related to Idubbbz, but I just find it kind of interesting how he handled things compared to Idubbbz. So there's this guy named Oompaville, and he came up with a candy company called Sour Boys. And he basically wanted to make everything himself. He wanted to have everything organic, American made, and like, invest in everything himself. So he gets this guy to supposedly custom build a candy making machine. The entire time this guy's being sketchy, doesn't even meet him in person actually. He sends someone else to go meet him in person, and that guy ends up working for him. Turns out this guy basically embezzled like $1 million almost. Well, he didn't take all of it because some of it actually did go into parts, but they were all Chinese parts that he just bought and didn't customize it all, totally fucked it up. And Oompaville, he's still going. He was like, fuck, I just lost almost $1 million, but I'm still gonna make this happen. I'm still gonna like anything, and he called him out obviously for the bullshit, but his business is still going. He made it work. It's not for charity. He's not claiming to do anything for charity. It's just a ground up thing, and I'm like, man, respect. I in other YouTube news, I thought that was a little uplifting compared to all this shit because he's
What, you don't think Idubbbz starting internet drama, pretending that he's giving money to his charity, and then when he finally gets called out after people, I gotta love that I burp after drinking. Then after people call the charities, find out he didn't give money, he starts throwing a tantrum about it, and then makes his apology video where his numbers don't add up or make sense because it's only $140 or $140,000 increase in his fixed expenses that he's telling us about.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, check out Oompaville. Go subscribe to Oompaville. He's actually pretty funny.
Don't give all your money to Anita Sarkeesian. If you can, please give your money to patreon.com.
I thought you said Anisa.
Anisa is our Lord and Savior. She may make mistakes and never take responsibility for them, but if you just visit my OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/Anisa, you can see my butt getting grabbed by somebody with black fingernails. Who that person is, I don't fucking know. Or just go to Fansly. She's not on there, but just go to Fansly and just pay for literally anybody else.
Christopher said, everyone is in on the take. No one wins here.
You know what? That's the deepest shit that somebody said in this chat. Because you know what? Sometimes there's just no fucking heroes.
Yeah.
And that's...
We are all degenerates. Everyone is a piece of shit.
Well, I'm not. Fuck you.
Well, I mean, to a point. There's different levels.
Look, the only really good people here are me and Ethan Oliver Ralph. No, but like that's the one thing I learned. Like in this event, like there's a lot of people that don't know what the hell's going on. There's Nathan Barnett. I don't know what the deal is with him, but he did it. He did the event again. He took it seriously. He felt like he got screwed with a lot, and then everyone told there was rumors spread about him that he was a rapist, which is kind of bullshit. I don't think that's the case, but who the fuck knows? So maybe he's one of the bad guys too, and that's what I learned in a lot of these things is sometimes there's just no fucking heroes. Like a lot of the people that are going after like Anisa and Idubbbz, it's a lot of dancing on the grave of somebody who's having issues. And that's why I kind of wanted to focus on the actual money aspect. And maybe I'm wrong, but at the very least, I'd like to get this guy to open the books, and I'd like to get other people to start saying, hey, you need to open the books. If you're going to start using charity as your shield, you need to start showing us how much you're paying for everything. And yeah, he'll get shit for oh, you're paying fighters $20,000 to do an event. Believe it or not, that is on the low end, and that really would count as staff, more or less.
Yeah, I want to say we're being pretty reasonable here. Like,
Yeah.
we're not saying like that you shouldn't pay your fighters. We're not saying that you fucked everything up, but there's obviously some shit that
Well, if they want to do it as
calculate correctly.
If they want to do it as cheap as possible, go take it to a Walmart parking lot in California. You'll get as
That's
many
real
people as
charity
possible.
right there.
Yeah, you'll get
for miles.
Yeah, people will come for miles. You'll overload that. You'll get tons of people all over the place. And you'll
some drones broadcasting too.
Yeah, if you really want to do it for charity and cut your costs in half. I get that there's a balance that you have to strike, but when your books aren't open up to where people can take a look at things and see that, and all you're saying is, trust me, bro, we'll manage it better this time. After you have people like Harley Morstein going around bragging, we sold even more pay-per-views, and then walking it back. We sold out the arena. Well, they're saying they sold out the arena. I'm not sure if that's real or not. I take them at their word on that, but if I take them at their word, that's $1.7 million that is unaccounted for in revenue. I mean, what we're looking at is a grand total of like 3.2 million, with the medium estimate of 1.24 million for the median on the pay-per-views at 50,000 sold. Wait, what recent? Oh, I wonder how much of a budget went to Colombian product. Unironically, that actually is probably a good question. Like, I know, like, you're joking about so basically make Creator Clash 3 bum fights.
Yeah, dude. Get the people who people actually want to see fight. Why? Okay, Idubbbz, why are you censoring what people really want to see? Do you know how much money you would have made on top of the $600,000 if you fucking let Sam Hyde fight? You dumb shit. You fucking gay frog. I swear to God. How you know how bad you fucked this up? Just let Sam Hyde fight anyone. Let him fight a girl. I don't care.
Okay, hold on. An intergender fight would be pretty hilarious.
I would love that. I want to fight. I will fight you.
I personally, I would suggest getting Ethan Ralph and May to go fight each other. Now, I know
Ethan Ralph versus Ethan Klein.
I would pay to watch that.
I would pay to watch that.
You know what? And I wouldn't care if the money went to charity. You know what? In fact, I wouldn't want it to go to charity. In fact, I would get mad if any money went to charity for that. In fact, I'd want their charity to be their own bank accounts.
Processing trauma equals doing coke. Yeah, and he was like,
ask Andy Borski, he'd agree.
I didn't process my trauma at all. These accusations flung far afield are so petty and immature. I agree. We aren't making any accusations. So,
well, my accusation is just looking at the math.
Yeah, we're not making any accusations. We're asking for more information.
Yeah, the 250,000 doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, okay, how do you explain where last year you have a profit margin of 1.3 million and off of 100,000 pay-per-view sales? Explain how selling less than that somehow leads to negative, not $0, negative $250,000. And then on top of that, you've only had an increase of costs of $140,000.
Yeah, that's
if you can make that math work, because these are the only definite numbers that I have. Everything else is me trying to get an estimate because there's a lot of hidden information. So it is pretty tricky to try and figure it out.
Yeah, and that's why this entire time we've been open and
that's why I
asking
said,
for
like,
information.
hey, I'm probably wrong on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so this is
all
none of
estimation.
this.
I don't know.
And none of this has been an accusation. We are simply going over what they have told us. So I don't know if you're like, I don't know if you're a jaded Idubbbz fan or if you are talking about specifically the people who are accusing him of pocketing money. But we're not.
Well, no, that's the thing is nobody's accused him of that, and that's what kind of bothers me, is that nobody. He's made a big stink about it. Bo Blacks has said, they're kind of profiting off of this, but his again, I get where he's coming from, but he's slightly misguided because they paid their boxers a stipend, which that's standard practice. That is normal, and yes, he is paying on the low end of that. But we don't know anything else about it. But yeah, if you can get that same math where minus 140,000 somehow turns into negative 250K with a positive revenue flow of what's half of 1.3 million. No, I'll actually get the calculator out for this one because I'm too drunk to do it in my head. 1.3 divided by 2. $650,000. So revenue from the pay-per-view cut in half. There should be $650,000. Now keep in mind, still sold out stadium. So whatever the stadium is, they sold every seat in the house. They shouldn't be taking a loss on anything there. This is the only thing. Okay, the hotel. Okay, maybe a little bit out of there, but how much are you looking at as a daily rate for the hotel? And then how long are you staying there? And yes, I do need numbers for that. We know the number of rooms should only be 24. As far as your staff goes, that goes along with the event, you're going to hire local. I don't think you're importing people all the way from California to come along with you to set this up. But if you are, I think that's also relevant information, because then that becomes a question of, hold on, where can you start cutting costs so that you're not losing $250,000?
Yeah, maybe the two parties. Maybe start with that. But I wanted to say, as far as people accusing them of pocketing money, it's like, okay,
no, I think people honestly have a valid reason to
that's
accuse them
fine.
of that.
I'm just saying this,
and I think more people should. And I'm surprised more people haven't.
I'm not saying that.
I know you aren't.
Other people are saying that. Let me finish.
No, I'm sexist, and you're not a person because you have a vagina. Oh!
I keep losing my train of thought.
I'm gonna drink another beer. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if you don't have any evidence to show us, we are literally making this, and I know what I was gonna say now. This sounds like we're retarded Redditors, right? So why the hell aren't people proving this wrong then? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can say that we're making accusations all you want, but where are the actual facts? That's what we're trying to figure out. We're not making blind accusations at all with no data. We are saying exactly what they said, exactly what they did, and even coming up with costs that we possibly don't know. We're going hard as hell with this, okay? With going into what he could possibly. We're trying to make excuses for him, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you're trying to come here and say that we are accusing them of anything,
hire local prostitutes.
I'm sorry.
I agree, God Pikachu. He should be hiring local prostitutes and not
Yeah,
importing
totally
them from
local.
California. So I'll say this much, and like as far as the research go, and I admit this at the very beginning, it's not super well researched. But that's the thing, is a lot of the information is hidden. The little information that he does give
This is
us,
all we got.
what are the data points that he officially gives us? 50,000 on the pay-per-views. We know the pricing based on what's there. We have a general idea of the Ticketmaster prices, and even then we don't know what the full pricing is, because there's pricing that shows $2,000 for I don't know what, because I can't go back and view it, and the Ticketmaster data is gone. I have the archive, but the archive only shows a screenshot of that. I have what the arena's capacity is, and I have the approximate amount. Now, if the boxing ring takes up slightly more space and it dropped, 50 extra seats, I don't know that, and I don't have a way of knowing that. But that's kind of the point. If they're not being transparent with the books, and they're claiming that they're doing this all for charity, then we don't know what the fuck they're doing behind the scenes.
And again,
And
why even say that you have a $250,000 loss unless you're trying to fix something that you fucked up? I'm like, obviously they're doing that stream because they did something wrong.
Well, so here's my thing is, when you're making the profit, yeah, nobody can question your books. Whatever, you gave money, you gave more money than, whatever. Sure, you may have pissed away $13 million and only given 100,000. It's the Susan G. Komen thing. A lot of people don't go after Susan G. Komen because there's still, 1 or 2 million out of the, 60, 70 million that they spend going after and, sucking up in overhead costs. That still goes somewhat to charity. But when you start not giving the money to charity and you start claiming losses and you don't want to open up the books, it becomes a problem. And you need to open up the books so people can see where that money is going. You do open yourself up to scrutiny. And I'm sorry, like if you want to claim that you're a charity, a 501c3 opens up those books. I could audit that right now. I can go look at PETA's books. I can go look at Greenpeace. Well, I guess Greenpeace is technically a terrorist organization because of some of their activities. But I could go look at Habitat for Humanity. I can go pull up their books. I can see where things are spent. And that's the problem with this, is he's not opening up the books. He's not letting us see. If he does, hey, I'll eat my words. I have no problem admitting I'm wrong, especially if I can go over where everything was spent. But the moment you're not letting me seeing that and you're saying, just trust me, bro, and you're lying about donating to charity or how much you donated to charity or how much you sold and all that, what you're showing me is it's not about the charity. You're showing me that it's all about your image, your ego, and dancing like a fucking monkey for attention. By the way, nice
Find it
up there. I'd give that monkey attention.
See, this is what I think Idubbbz has turned into. Now he says, find it in writing. A contract that states this event was for charity. I'm not sure what you're getting at, man. It sounds like you...
Well, no. He actually might have a point. So here's the thing is, if for some reason they actually ran it as a for-profit... See, but here's the thing is they'd open themselves up to legal issues if they did something like that. So if you advertise yourself as doing something for charity, and then it turns out that you were actually running it as a for-profit business, oh boy, there's all kinds of shit that happens to you for the false advertising on that one.
I don't think it really matters, bro. I'm sorry, but like if you say that something is for charity and then don't end up donating to charity,
he's
that's
not wrong.
messed up.
He's not wrong. There are ways around that. Again, you can increase the expenses as high as you want for donating the profits. But here's the thing. It very specifically states in all of their materials that the profits will be donated to charity. What's the exception? Well, if they don't make any profit, they don't have to donate shit.
I understand that, and that's a scummy thing to do, and people are going to get upset about that.
And he is right about that.
Obviously.
He's also right about find it in writing in a contract where it says that it is a charity event. And he is right about that. If they did that, they would run into other issues. They would probably get all their licensing pulled from the state of Florida for screwing over the charities, and that would be like a purely political action.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of bad shit that happens whenever you try and say that you're doing stuff for charity and then you end up just pocketing the money. And that could also technically bring embezzlement charges as well. But that's like a whole other thing, and I don't want to accuse him of that.
Yeah, no, that's not what we're here
here's
for.
Another thing is when I say pocketing the money, I don't want to say he's committing the crime of embezzlement. What I'm saying is, at best, the funds are being mismanaged, and at worst, he's paying him and all his friends for useless positions in however this is organized, whatever the hierarchy is for this, which is then pissing away the money for the charity. And even then, I think giving money to charity isn't necessarily the best way to actually help people, because I think a lot of charities piss away money to overhead costs. But that's a whole other story.
All right, I want to say something, and like, I want to have it taken seriously. If you're really implying that, like, I see that nihilist is in your name, but I don't really understand why you're even watching. If you genuinely think that if something wasn't in writing, you just don't care or think it doesn't matter that they didn't follow up and with their promises and donate to charity, I don't know what to tell you. You're a fucked up person. Like, oh well, like people have the right to be upset about this. If you're not upset about it, oh well, why are you watching this stream? We have a right to know. We have a right to be concerned about the future of the creator clash. If you really don't give a shit that they didn't donate to charity and you're actually happy that all of it went to them, good for you, man. I'm sorry that you are really that upset about it.
It might have not went to them. They might have just pissed it away on their little party. They might have just pissed it away on...
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah, if all of it just went to themselves and their parties and stuff, and you're happy about that, and you don't think that the charity should be donated to, that's your problem, man.
Well, I get where he's coming from. I would take him sort of as like a stress test, because that's
exactly what I'm saying.
Comment about it's immature, it's all the same playbook, and to an extent, I would understand that. Like, I get where you're coming from, because everyone's been attacking Idubbbz the same exact way.
Yeah, obviously, and that's not why we're here.
He's his girlfriend shows her pussy on the internet. It's true. But it doesn't
really
get
don't
more
give a
true
shit.
the 50,000 other times that it said. That's why I wanted to go over the numbers on this, because the only other person that's done it is Bo Blacks. Is look at the numbers, and even then, like with Bo Blacks, I would disagree with him on a lot, because he says, "Oh well, the fighters are getting paid." Well, technically, the fighters should be getting paid. Like.
Yeah, we all agree on that.
Well,
there's
I don't know about all, but
well,
because there were some people earlier that
wrong.
were like, "Hey, like $500,000 is a lot of money not to go to charity," and that is correct. It's a lot, but nothing would be going to charity if they weren't willing to punch each other in a ring. And it's hard to get them to agree to punch each other in a ring if you're not even willing to sweeten the pot and lube up that anus with a nice little $20,000 training stipend.
And there's literally no excuse for turning down $600,000. I'm sorry, especially if you're claiming that it's so much for charity. And I don't think Idubbbz wants that. I think he wants it to be for profit. But Anisa has this obsession. I think Anisa has this obsession with it being for charity, and that didn't work out this time, did it? No.
I think she's innocent and she's never done anything wrong.
See, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just stupid. They don't know.
Bites too, meth field boogaloo. That's right.
Hell yeah. See, that would be entertaining. I would enjoy that.
I mean, I think Anisa, I keep calling her Anisa for some reason. I think Anisa, she needs to take responsibility, not just so that everyone can shit on her, but like you don't grow as a person and you don't grow in your position if you never are reprimanded for your mistakes. And that's a problem, is like if she has a position where she is managing the fighters in this, she needs to be reprimanded for what she does wrong, and it needs to be known.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't care, then
Yeah, and God Pikachu said very correctly, yeah, if you say something is for charity and then pocket the money, it's fraud. See, and that's the thing, is if that turns out that this is what's going on, Creator Clash 3 happening is going to be the least of his problems, because then you're looking at fraud. But of course, there's ways around that. Because again, like if he's just racking up the expenses to an insane amount, then he technically never has to give anything to charity. I think he should just drop the charity act, or he should open up his book so that people can see what the money is being spent on. And it would honestly make for funny content for him to argue with people about the money being spent. But whatever. What do I know? I just work a 9 to 5. What does it say? What am I? Just nuclear technician. I don't know shit about anything.
So yeah, I was really happy about the first Creator Clash. And here's okay.
I agree. Just like he can't keep getting away with it.
He can't keep getting away with it. So I became an Idubbbz fan in 2016.
I'm pissing. So.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to talk about my life.
God, I'm pissing at the right time.
Yep. I heard of the name Filthy Frank. I had never heard of Idubbbz. But I heard of Filthy Frank before that, but I had never watched any videos or anything. Finally, in 2016, I was like, all right, what the fuck is this? I guess I'll watch something. And I think it was like one of the Pink Guy songs or something. So went down a Filthy Frank rabbit hole, found Idubbbz, really liked Ian. I thought he was a really cool guy. I thought he was funny. I thought he was logical in like the way that he made videos and broke things down. Like everybody who said like that he apologized to for his content cops, they were like, I kind of need to be called out, dude. Like I did some shitty things. Why are you apologizing for calling me out for doing shitty things? But anyways, I really, really, really liked him. I even put some clips of him in like one of my videos at one point, because I was watching him every day. And when I was going through his bulk of content, and I was even lucky enough to see a couple of the content cops come out. So I wasn't some like teenager watching him, which I could have been. I was 21, 22. And I still enjoy everything that he and Filthy Frank made to this day. I rewatch them. Like everything that he created in the past seemed to have thought and meaning behind it, and now he's completely disavowing himself. And it's sad. Like I genuinely want to see him do better. I know that a lot of this is like critical and silly, and yeah, like who really cares? But I mean, I don't talk about internet stuff often, but that's mostly because I don't think anyone gives a shit. But sometimes we just like to have conversations and just discuss and see if there's other opinions about this. That's the main reason that we're doing this. So we want things to be transparent, and we want people to know what's actually going on. Like I don't think that's a lot to ask.
You know, that story was really touching, and I want to share a similar story. You know, when I was born as a poor black child in southern Louisiana.
Yeah, we all know this.
Yeah. You know, the first thing I came across on the internet was Gamergate. And it made me realize that ethics in games journalism is the most important thing that we need to fight for. And if that means kicking women out of video games, so be it. I don't give a shit. Okay. We need to get these fucking whores out of video games. And it was people like Mr. Medicare and Ethan Ralph that showed me that women are stupid and you shouldn't respect them when it comes to video games. Everything else you should simp 110%. You should, buy their Amazon wish lists or whatever. Doesn't matter. You should just marry them if you meet them off of a Skype call or whatever. Nothing matters. Okay, but if they touch a fucking video game, you slap them and you say no, bad. You stop. And it breaks my heart that they don't make content like they used to anymore. Because I believe in Gamergate too. I believe Sargon was right.
I don't even want him to go back to making that content anymore. It's just a past time. I think honestly he probably just like he said, he should do things that he wants to do. And if that's squirrels, that's fucking fine. And making weird Thanos pimple popper things, go for it, man.
Well, here's the thing though, is he thinks he's entitled to views and the same viewership.
I don't know about that. I don't really think he does, but every time I keep forgetting what I'm fucking saying. Oh well, I'm done.
Yeah, I think you're just salty because you're a fan of Idubbbz and he's a cuck.
No, because you keep interrupting me, jerk.
Yeah, I
know. We need to know if things can be Rule 34. Anything can be Rule 34. Oh God!
Just wait till AI comes along and is commercially available to everyone. Everything's gonna be Rule 34. Yeah. Hey, well, what is it? You can go on 4chan right now, and there's like an ad already for like you give them any picture of a girl and they'll make a nude of it. So I mean, yeah, it's there. It's a thing. Welcome to a dystopian reality time.
I guess Anisa will be out of business pretty soon.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. I've said everything I need to say. If anyone has any points that they want to make. Oh, a Twisted Smile says, I'm doing great. How are you, hon? Oh, wait, you guys are having a conversation. Stupid bitch. This is why I need Gamergate.
No one is allowed to make anything funny anymore. Exactly. I mean, BitChute still allows certain things, but YouTube is obviously a cesspool. I mean, I've found some things here and there, but they eventually get deleted,
I mean, so AI has unironically ruined the internet in that I'm sure you've noticed, like, I can't Google search anything anymore because, like, the results are repeating. It's the same thing over again, and half the time it's not even relevant to what I'm looking for. And then I think, okay, well, I'll just switch browsers. And then I find out that Microsoft and Google own the web crawler technology for most search engines. So now I'm, like, trying to, like, look all over the place for, like, weird, different, like, web crawlers and stuff. And then you're seeing all these weird moves like Twitter just shutting off any access to non-users to even see what's going on there, which I would think would defeat the purpose of Twitter. Like, I would have went through and gotten a whole like list of Twitters and tweets that were proving our points if that move didn't happen. And it's all because they want to stop AI from scraping and learning. And I'm just tired of the internet just going to shit. I'm tired of everything being just so neutered and safe. I would rather live in a world that didn't have AI and just let us, be who we are. And I think that what we're seeing now is with the removing of cyberbullying and just bullying in general and making fun of people and all that crap. we've seen an important part of the ecosystem get completely cut off, and it's led to this like massive explosion of other stuff. The reason why you're seeing like so many shameless people now on the internet is because there is nobody to shame them. You go in and say something negative in the comments, you get banned immediately. And you don't even have to say something horrible. You just have to not approve, and somebody goes and reports it. And you're seeing an entire generation of people thinking that reporting is the good thing to do. Hey, you shouldn't make fun of people. Hey, you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. You just need to trust that a multi-million-dollar company will make a right decision about the thing that you flagged and then move on with your life. That's the gayest mindset I could ever think of. And I don't mean that in the homosexual way, because the homosexuals had the good sense to have a riot at Stonewall whenever the police fucked with them, and they realized that maybe flagging their families as homophobic for kicking them out, and then the police coming along and saying, hey, we also don't like you, wasn't the best idea. Maybe sometimes, you need a little pushback, and sometimes you need those sharks to keep an ecosystem at bay. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I think we're pretty much done here, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to show this picture. Sorry, I didn't get to warn you guys about the graphic imagery, but this is a leak from one of Anisa's new sets. Obviously, you can see her giant gaping hole. So I just wanted to share that here before it got deleted. So we hope you enjoy this stream. And please, don't watch this, Idubbbz. I don't want them to see this personally. I'm not looking. We do not want fame. We want answers.
Well, I don't.
We don't want fame. I just said it. I don't want fame either. I don't want him to see this. I don't want to be called like. I don't want to be
a clout chaser. Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be seen like or shown by anyone that is like, oh, this person's whatever.
Somebody's had a few too much to drink.
What are you talking about? You're the drunk one. Shut up.
I'm always the drunk one.
So yeah, we I would prefer if this got barely any views, but if the right person sees it and can break down the math and can actually figure out what the hell is going on, please comment or reach out to me on Twitter at Vanessa W Cheese. I mean, you can email me, I guess, but commenting or tweeting at me is probably the best way to let me know stuff. Just be like, hey, you dumb bitch, you were wrong about this, or you were right about this, or whatever. I'm sure a lot more will come out. I think that
I would just like people to at least press him on the numbers, because the numbers he gave doesn't make sense. That's all I want. Of all the people that are watching, I would just like, all I would like is for them to bring up publicly that his numbers don't add up and he should open his book so that people can scrutinize it. That's it. And normally I wouldn't think that this would have any chance to be viewed, but apparently the pocketing the money accusation, there's only one person who's made any kind of claim, and that's Bo Blacks. And that has set them off. So at the very least, if we could just see some more transparency, there's a chance that, they probably did have a $250K loss. But I'm going to tell you right now, with the explanation given, it looks like you're pocketing the money. And be it, okay, what, felony embezzlement? No, not necessarily, although I wouldn't rule that out. But it looks like you're funding other shit through it. but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? That's why we're asking.
And we can't know. And if they just never say anything about it, and no one ever criticizes them about it, then it just goes away, and then everyone can pretend that he's a good person who gives to charity.
I think that he should donate pickles to the homeless. That specifically sewer pickles.
I know. The homeless have been through enough. The homeless.
Oh, whatever.
I just want the homeless to get free heroin. Is that so wrong?
Oh my god, you're ridiculous.
Look, okay, they get the heroin. There's three possible outcomes if you give the homeless free heroin. Outcome number one, they get free heroin. Oh wow, they don't have to do horrible things for their fix. Win-win-win. Number two, they realize heroin is wrong.
Why are you still talking about this?
And they become clean, find their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's a win.
All right.
Number three, they die of an overdose.
Bro.
Nobody has to pay for their medical bills anymore. That's a win.
All right. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Just contact me if you got any info. Let us know your thoughts. And your whores. Let us know what you think about Idubbbz and Anisa. We
don't let me know. I don't want to talk to any of you.
It's my channel.
Thanks for letting me be on it, by the way. I don't use social media at all because I'm sick of how gay the internet's become.
Well, that's what this is for. To come for you. So
and I don't mean that as homosexual. I mean the happy, forced happiness shit.
You can come on and talk about whatever the fuck your drunken heart desires. Delicious crack. No crack. All right. Thanks everyone. I'm gay, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Yeah, if you can, please give to my Patreon at patreon.com/hulagirl86.
Follow Gayest Kyle on Twitter and TikTok. Twik Twok. I'm on Twink Talk. Gayest Kyle, follow me.
Also, you can follow my OnlyFans at hulagirl86.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye.